This is ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com. The first Saturday of the 2009 college football season kicks off from the Horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio. 6th-ranked Ohio State entertaining Navy, a unique opponent for the Buckeyes as a tune-up for next week's showdown with USC. Kickoff is seconds away. Dave Pasch alongside Bob Griese and Chris Spielman. Ohio State quarterback Terrell Pryor, guys, 9-1 as a starter, as a true frosh last year. What can we expect from him this year?
Well, you know, I think Terrell is he's a little bit nervous talking to Tressel on the field a little bit before the ball game. He said he's a little bit nervous. I saw him coming down. He didn't want to shake too many hands. He was slapping high fives. But for a guy that hasn't played a lot of football, he's starting his sophomore season, only his 12th start of the year, a lot is expected of Terrell Pryor.
Well, no, also a lot is expected of that Navy triple option offense. You talk to the defensive coaches from Ohio State, guys. 3 things to stop any option. 1, you cannot let the center get up to the second level, the linebackers. 2, if they establish the dive, the straight handoff to the fullback, if that's going, you're in trouble because your defense guessing. And 3, of course, they got to keep their eye on number 4, Ricky Dobbs. And Ricky Dobbs is bringing something to the table that you don't see from Navy. They say he can sling the rock or throw the ball, whatever you want to say it. We'll find out today.
Yeah, in fact, their head coach Ken Niumatalolo says he might be the best passing quarterback they've had at Navy. Navy will kick it away. John Teague will do the honors. And back to receive for Ohio State, Dan Herron and Lamar Thomas.
It's good for Terrell Pryor to get that first series going, David, as Bob talked about, to relieve some of those nerves.
And we're underway from Ohio Stadium. And a reverse to Brandon Sain on the opening kickoff. He gets a block at the 15-yard line and is down the sideline. 1 man to beat. And pushed out of bounds at the 49-yard line in Navy territory by the kicker, John Teague.
This is well executed. They start up the field and you give it to a state champion track star. You'll get a good block right there, and Brandon Sain is off to the races. Now his boys will get on him a little bit. The kicker Teague had the angle on him and just got enough of him to knock him out of bounds.
Emmett Merchant, who got blocked as he tried to make the tackle on Sain around the 20-yard line, is shaken up.
It was close to being a block in the back on Merchant. He is their starting free safety and one of their top defensive players.
They need him. He's walking off. Good sign. Go over there, take some smelling salts and a cup of Gatorade, and get your ram back in there. He'll be tough.
Was that your pregame meal too, Chris?
Yeah, that was about it. Yeah. Everything else would come up, Dave.
Looking at Terrell Pryor, 6'6", 235-pound sophomore play fake on first down. He was terrific outside the pocket last year. That pass off the mark, intended for Dane Sonsenbacher. Starting offense for Ohio State at the top of your screen. Dan Herron replacing Chris Beanie Wells as the starting tailback behind Pryor in the backfield. And not only the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, but the preseason Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year.
So that last play took a little long to see the open receiver. He's got to throw the ball a little quicker.
Running play, Herron on second down, not much. Ross Pospisil, the defensive captain, makes the play as we look at our impact players, brought to you by Dave & Buster's.
Well, Terrell Pryor is the guy. He can go a long way, this team, as long as Terrell Pryor is in there and playing well. Dan Herron is the running back. He is filling big shoes of Beanie Wells from last year. He'll do well today. And then also on the defense, Kurt Coleman is the leader of that defense.
So after that great return, Ohio State faced with a 3rd down and long. Pryor with time. And his pass juggled and then caught for a first down. Nice grab by DeVere Posey. Battling an ankle injury, got enough to move the sticks.
Posey got up limping yesterday at practice, and it doesn't show anything about that. This is a great concentration effort. Get your hands, get your eyes on the ball. He gets hit and then really re-catches the ball. That's a big first down on the first series for Terrell Pryor.
I noticed the good footwork of Terrell Pryor, keeping his eyes downfield, stepping up into the pocket, not going to his comfort zone, rolling out and delivering a fastball.
On the 38-yard line, another play fake. This time a rollout to the left. And Pryor throws a strike, but unable to stay in bounds was true freshman Duron Carter, the son of ESPN's Chris Carter. Navy starting defense at the top of your screen. Much improved defense in 2008 from 2007. In fact, in terms of points allowed, the most improved defense from 07.
And not much to it either. They're simple. They know what they do. They execute. Now, being smaller on that defensive front, they'll do a lot of stunts, mean movement with those three defensive guys. And when they blitz, they do it out of the zone because they can't match up out of man.
How about the Florida Gators being the third most improved defense, as you saw from that graphic? Here's Herron, stumbled in the backfield, got maybe a yard. It'll bring up another third down and long.
You know, guys, the one thing I want to see from Terrell Pryor, he looked comfortable in the pocket, which he did last year, but when he's rolling, Bob, what I'm seeing is he's late picking up that receiver because the receiver's on the out cut and the receiver's running out of real estate. You got to see him and throw it, pull up and throw it.
Well, when he rolled out the last time down to his left, there was a deeper receiver down there. I think he was waiting to see if he was going to get open and then come off to the short guy.
Ohio State converted a 3rd down and 8 earlier on this drive. This is 3rd and 10. Pryor hit. And again, throwing over the middle. Great balance by Sanzenbacher. He'll score. Touchdown, Ohio State. Six-play drive after the great kick return by Brandon Sain on the reverse, and now Aaron Petrie on for the point after. So Ohio State strikes first prior to Sanzenbacher.
Pryor made this play, Chris. I mean, just the fact that he eluded the tackler. He's going to step up. Now he should be throwing it right now. Almost gets sacked. Composure, throws the ball down the field.
The one thing you see there is Dane Sanzenbacher, Bob, and you loved it too when the receivers kept the route alive. Sanzenbacher was doing an in route, turned it into an out cut, and Terrell Pryor, one of the biggest improvements that he's had, according to Daryl Hazel, is a receivers coach, is he keeps his eyes downfield. Last year, it's safe to assume he would have tucked and run. There, he trusted his arm and he trusted his receivers down the field to be able to make the throw.
Those butterflies that Pryor had before the game are gone. they're gone. They may have been as big as buzzards, but they're no longer there.
And how about the fact, guys, that Navy got Ohio State in the 3rd and long twice, and Pryor made a play both times.
Well, that's what they're going to do. I mean, that's when he throws the ball. To me, he might not only be one of the top quarterbacks as far as accuracy, but he may be one of the best running backs, and we have yet to see that in the country, not in the Big Ten.
Having in the pocket, throwing the ball, then having escape and get him out on the perimeter and have him run the football or throw it from outside.
And you said running backs. You don't mean running quarterback. No. You mean running back.
I mean running backs. Now, guys, I've talked to coaches throughout the year, and when they tell me they've never seen anything like him as far as the speed goes, and he's 6'6", and Bob pointed out to me he was 6'6", with the reach of a boxer. He's got that massive stiff arm.
True freshman G.G. Green with his first kickoff return at the Naval Academy, out to the 20-yard line. Look again at our impact players, brought to you by Dave & Buster's, this time the Navy midshipmen.
Take a look. You got Ricky Dobbs right there. He's the key. He's got to be in tune, in track with everybody else. He can throw the football. Moving on, Curtis Bass. If Curtis can get to the second level and get on the linebacker's legs, the triple option will work. And on defense, Ross Pospisil, the captain, the tough guy, the leader of the midshipmen on D.
Dobbs last year rushed for close to 500 yards and leading a game against SMU where he ran for over 200. He's going to throw here on first down, showing off the arm, but too long for his intended receiver. As we check in with Reese Davis back in the studio. Hello, Reese.
Hello, guys. Taco Bell studio update. The debut of Greg Paulus for Syracuse against Minnesota, and the first snap of his football career goes over his head. Coach K would have wanted him on the floor getting that loose ball. He did not. Minnesota recovered, and from there, easy as pie, Dwayne Bennett goes in, but Syracuse is deep in the red zone. Just had a touchdown call back, trying to even the game. At the moment, Minnesota up by a touch.
All right, Reese, here at 7-0 Buckeyes, and 2 pass plays right out of the gate by Navy. They had a game last year they didn't throw once, as that is caught by Mike Shute near the marker.
That was the SMU game when it was raining like mad, like cats and dogs. But coming out throwing the football obviously is just something that Ohio State didn't expect, Chris.
Well, I like the 3-step drop, too. With a young quarterback, you do a quick 3-step drop, let him get in rhythm, easy completion for positive yards. It won't be long before. Look at the splits, though. If you can see the offensive line, how wide they are. That's to create holes.
Shute got the first down. And Dobbs keeping and picks up 5.
And one thing I noticed right there, and this is important to keep your eye on, right there was a bad read by Ricky Dobbs. The fullback, if he would have gave the ball to the fullback, he didn't get touched until he got 5 yards down the field. And they're splitting that Ohio State defensive out. And how you counter that if you're Ohio State defense, you start slanting inside to take away the fullback.
This might be the last time we see more pass plays than run plays in the Navy play selection. Here's 2nd down and 5. Dobbs again will keep, and he's close to another first down. Out to the 40-yard line, Ross Holman on the stop.
The key to this whole triple option Navy offense is the quarterback, Ricky Dobbs. But he's got to decide whether to give it to the fullback on a triple option up the middle. Then he's got to pull. If he pulls it out, then he goes down the line. He's got to decide whether to run it himself like he did that time or to pitch it to the outside guy. So much depends on how well Ricky Dobbs plays today as whether or not Navy's going to have a chance here in the horseshoe.
3rd down and inches for Navy. And Dobbs stood up by Larimore, but got the first down.
This is what I'm talking about, the splits. Take a look at the Navy defensive line. Those are abnormal splits. Those are about 3 or 4 feet. And what Ohio State's going to start doing is start pinching inside to take away the fullback dive. Take a look. Now, this is a quarterback follow where the fullback becomes the lead blocker. Well executed by Navy. You needed a half a yard. You got 3/4 of a yard for the first.
First down to the Navy 41. This time he does give it to the fullback, Alexander Teach. And he picks up 3 or 4. Brian Roll, the middle linebacker, made the tackle. Starting lineups for Navy's offense at the top of your screen. And Roll replacing James Laurinaitis as the middle linebacker for the Buckeyes. Laurinaitis, 2nd-round draft pick of the St. Louis Rams.
Brian Roll had a huge spring. They expect a big year from him. Very productive for the middle linebacker spot.
Dobbs keeping. Roll missed the tackle, and Dobbs close to another first down. Finally brought down by Kurt Coleman. All running plays since the opening 2 plays of this drive, which were passes.
It's interesting how they're using motion, too. That time, Doyle, number 33, came in, and he became a sealer. That's to protect from any outside blitz, and they ran right up inside of that block. So basically, that's the old power O-bomb out of the I formation, with Dobbs being the tailback and the fullback being the kickout.
I don't know about you, but I don't know much about the power O offense and the triple option offense. I was talking with Ricky Dobbs yesterday at the walkthrough, and he was explaining a little bit to me.
Another 3rd down and 1. And on the fullback dive, Teach going to be close inside Buckeye territory right at the first down marker.
What'd you get out of it? You guys didn't do that with the Dolphins, did you?
No, basically what he told me is, I said, how do you decide whether or not to let the fullback have the ball? Yeah. And he says, I said, when does the fullback grab onto the ball? He says, if the fullback gets past me, he's grabbing the ball. If I'm going to take it out, I'm going to take it out before he gets past me.
Dobbs with the late pitch, running room to the outside for Teach, and another Navy first down. Chimdi Chekwa pushes Teach out of play.
We got Ohio State guessing right now. I mean, there's not much option in the triple option with one back and the fullback Teach. Now take a look. Dobbs is going to take a shot by Worthington right here. Bam! But if you're an option quarterback, you're used to those. You see a good job of Teach getting all he can get. Not a speed burner, but he's teaching him a lesson right there. No pun intended, of course.
From the Ohio State 37, Dobbs pulled it back this time, wrapped up and thrown down by Cameron Hayward for a loss on the play.
Let's take a look at the offensive line for Navy. They are much smaller. In fact, they are the smallest offensive line in the country. They only average 6'3" and about 263 pounds. Those guys can't block the defensive guys up high. They've got to use their quickness, and there's a lot of cut blocking in that offensive line for Navy.
See the differential right there. And those guys are like ankle biters, man. They're gnats, but they're nasty gnats.
Yeah, Jim Tressel said some of his defensive players had their goatee shave getting cut in practice this week. Hitting the ground so often face first. Here's 2nd and 10. Dobbs on the option. Again, the late pitch and running room to the outside for Marcus Curry. Spun down by Kurt Coleman, a couple of yards shy of another Navy first down.
I want to show you guys something right here. This is a counter option. And if you're an Ohio State defender, you can't be fooled by this, because we'll take a look. Watch the backside guard pull. That tells you where the football is going. See that? You don't need to step up inside at all there. It's going outside when you have the backside guard pulling. Forget and disregard the dive fake and run to the football.
And they have 8 and 9 guys up near the line of scrimmage. There is no deep safety. They're playing man-to-man. Everybody else playing the run.
Here's Curry on 3rd and 2. It's another Navy first down. So 3 times they've had 3rd down and short, and they've picked it up every time.
Hey, you can see why Coach Tressel, Jim Haycock, Luke Fickell, co-defensive coordinators, why they were nervous about this football game. You don't see it, you don't understand it, and it's impossible to simulate in practice. In the spring, in the fall, it doesn't matter, because they can't execute like Navy's executing. The scout team.
13th play of the drive, plus it in no way, shape, or form gets you ready for what you got next week with USC coming here on ABC next Saturday night. Pitch to Bobby Doyle, and he's tripped up at the 17-yard line. Chimdi Chekwa might have saved a touchdown with that tackle. Good block by Gary Myers on the outside.
Navy is the leading rushing college football team in the nation, and has been that for the last 4 years. They're averaging 292 yards per game, and that's what you're going to get. I mean, there's no mistake about it. Just all these teams know it. Notre Dame knew it. Wake Forest knew it. Pittsburgh. All these teams that Navy has beaten in the last couple of years have not stopped the triple option.
Going to throw on 2nd down and overshoots his man in the end zone, incomplete. Greg Jones, the intended receiver.
It's a nice job, though, by Dobbs. If you're long, you're never wrong. You want to throw it to where your guy can get it, and did a good job of trying to throw the man open as opposed to trying to fit one right in there. Just make sure it's not picked.
Dobbs last year was the backup to Kaipo, Noah, Kayaku, and Hata. You guys can just say Kaipo the rest of the game if we have to bring his name up. Another 3rd and short. And Dobbs okay, totally fooled Ohio State. He's in. Touchdown, Navy. What a great opening drive.
Repeater of pass.
It was third and long, and Ohio State thought everything was going to go wide. Didn't think anybody was going to run it up the middle for 10, 15 yards, and Dobbs gets it in the end zone.
Joe Buckley's first ever PAT is good. Navy last year scored on 12 of its 13 opening drives. A 15-play, 80-yard drive, culminating in a 16-yard touchdown run by Ricky Dobbs. ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com as part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. 7-7 is the score. 5:43 to play in the first quarter. Navy went 4 of 4 on third down on that 80-yard drive.
Ricky Dobbs, the quarterback, doing a nice job. Both quarterbacks so far in this ball game, or so much of the offense is predicated around the quarterback doing his thing. Terrell Pryor, obviously, for the Buckeyes. And if a triple option doesn't have a quarterback that makes good decisions and good plays, and you're right, Chris, about throwing the ball. When he wasn't open, he just threw it away.
Nope, he's not going to force it.
Sane knocks it down and scoops it up at the 20-yard line. He had a great return on a reverse on the opening kickoff, and this time can't get away from Ram Vella at the 34-yard line. And Sane a little shaken up. Well, Terrell Pryor with 2 third down and long conversions led the Buckeyes to a touchdown on their opening drive. We'll see what he does next when we come back. Navy band joined by about 800 midshipmen in attendance here in Columbus as we welcome you back to ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com, part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. 7-7 is the score. Terrell Pryor and the Buckeye offense going to work. Here's Posey out in the flat. Out to the 38-yard line for a gain of 4. Craig Schaefer on the stop. Let's check in again with Reese Davis.
All right, guys, top Nittany Lion touchdown of the season. Minnesota and Syracuse. Adam Weber to Troy Stoudemire, his first career touchdown. And the Gophers on the road up by 11.
Meanwhile, Dan Herron trying to get outside and does. Picks up the Ohio State first down, Reese. Inside Navy's 47-yard line.
Take a look from the end zone. Watch. Going to fake to the fullback. All the red shirts overrun it. Chris, they overrun it to the right side. And Dobbs just pulls it out and ducks in right behind him and makes a good run into the end zone.
And the key there, if you're on defense, why that play works, if you're on your knees, you're no good. You're beat.
Well,
and that's what Navy does. Yeah, Navy does. Put you on your knees.
Pryor to throw, has a man wide open. It's the tight end Ballard inside the 30-yard line to the 28.
It's a good read by Terrell Pryor off the play action fake. His eyes went right to Jake Ballard. He saw the corner kind of sneak up a little bit, known at the 7 cut, which is a corner route. Watch Jake Ballard. Right here. Right there was a little corner route. The corner jumped up inside, and Terrell just dumps it in between a corner and a linebacker on target, so the guy has a catchable ball to run with.
Brandon Sane in the game at running back. Breaks a couple tackles. Finally twirled to the turf at the 22. Got about 6, though, on first down. Well, top 10 powerhouses Alabama and Virginia Tech collide in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game presented by Southwest Airlines, part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. That's at 8 tonight, 5 Pacific on ABC. Will the Hokies fare better than Clemson did last year against the Crimson Tide?
We'll see with Tyrod Taylor. I mean, Tyrod Taylor's the key to that. You know, you lose your star running back, Tyrod now has to take the brunt of the rushing duties for the Hokies.
And Darren Evans out for the season, a running back for Virginia Tech. Quarterback keeper inside the 15 and banged out a play around the 10-yard line. Got a block from DeVere Posey, the wide receiver downfield.
That's the extra dimension that Pryor brings. Not only is he huge, he's big and tall, but he can run so well, and he's never in a hurry. You know, he never reacts too quickly. He's just a long strider, a long glider. Reminds me a lot of Vince Young, the way he just glides. I mean, that's a great call. Jim Tressel on the sideline making all the offensive calls, doing a nice job mixing in the running pass.
Brett Denlinger in a deep tight end up top, number 92.
He's a defensive lineman. Brandon Sane smoked at the 10-yard line. Gain of 1. Wyatt Middleton the first to greet him.
You know, just to go back to that quarterback draw, which is going to be a major running play for this Ohio State offense. Defensively, you have to read the fullback. If the fullback, which was Brandon Sane, or the single back, if he leads up inside, that's what you have to see. It's no pass. It becomes basically a lead play with the fullback. If he's outside, it's pass. If he's inside, it's screen or draw. And that's what the linebackers have to adjust to help try to stop Terrell on that QB draw.
I can tell I'm going to learn something about defense doing this game.
It is Chris Spielman Day here in Columbus. More on that later.
Yeah.
Pryor in an empty set. So dangerous out of this set as Tynan throws it away. Another third down and long coming up. Jim Tressel in his 9th year now at Ohio State. 10-3 last year. And had a lead late in the Fiesta Bowl against Texas before losing by 3.
Got his favorite target up top on the left. Devere Posey split out wide. He's going to run an inside route.
Penalty flag down.
False start. Offense. Number 86. 5-yard penalty.
A lot of times, Bob, regular trips to the short side of the field. You put your best receiver to give him room to work on the wide side of the field. I think maybe that's what Coach Tressel was thinking.
You think these defensive guys sit in their defensive media rooms and really think that? I mean, that's the way the offense thinks. It's a little scary that these guys knew what we were thinking, you know?
Well, that's what his comfort level is. Now, let's see. It's a little different formation now. It's more balanced, no backs, 5 wide.
Third down and 13 after that false start. And Pryor has a man along the sideline, going to be well short of the first down as Sane makes the catch at the 7-yard line. Ohio State's got to go for 3 here.
It's a good job by Navy's defense playing deep to short, under the zones, understanding where you are in the field. They took away, that was basically a smash corner route. Smash was run by Brandon Sane, which is a short route. The corner was over the top. You play deep to short on the zone. They did a great job of executing. Nothing fancy, just execution.
Buddy Green, the Navy defensive coordinator. 7 starters back from last year. 23-yard attempt by Aaron Petrie. Missed just once last year. And nails that one to make it 10-7 Buckeyes.
I like this. Got a little offense going up and down the field.
Surprising.
Well, a penalty on 3rd down and 8 ended that Ohio State drive. The Buckeyes settle for 3 and take a 3-point lead. Can Ohio State's defense stop Navy's offense? A 15-play, 80-yard opening drive for the midshipmen.
The first thing they need to do is stay off the ground. And it's a battle of wills and execution. And the job of the Navy offensive lineman is to get the guys on the ground. That's why they come out and block at the level they do, which is knee and below.
And defensive linemen don't like that.
No, hate it.
And that's why they hate this playing against an option team, especially with smaller, lighter offensive linemen, because that's all they do is they cut block.
Short kickoff by Petrie. Green will take it around the 10. G.G. Green, true freshman, out to the 25. Let's go back to the studio and check in again with Penn State, of course, shared the Big Ten title with Ohio State and beat them head-to-head here in Columbus. The rematch November 7th in Happy Valley this year. Dobbs-Spine shoot out in the flat one-on-one. Can't get away from the corner, Devon Torrance. Well, in light of what took place in the Boise State-Oregon game, all eyes on the pregame handshakes as part of the coaches and NCAA partnering for a national sportsmanship initiative called Respect Weekend. And you knew you were going to have respect with Navy here. And here's the run out with the teams together taking the field.
It's the first time that's ever happened in the history of Ohio Stadium.
Just a class act. Coach can is really appreciative of all the fans. And you mentioned that Jim Tressel is the guy that was behind all of the courtesy and all the warm feeling.
Late pitch by Dobbs and a good open field tackle by Brian Roll as Corey Finnerty is taken down.
That's the difference. Brian Roll read the counter option. He disregarded the fullback dive. He didn't have to because he knew the backside guard was pulling. He just runs to that guy and he will follow the ball. Ross Holman did his job. He took the quarterback. Brian Roll over the top. Watch Brian Roll come over the top. Look at it. He's on touch. I'll tell you guys, I wasn't very good, but it was pretty easy to make plays when nobody blocks you, Bob.
That's it.
Dobbs forced to throw on 3rd and 6, maybe not. Breaks one tackle but cannot get away from Ross Holman as he gets crunched at the 32. Navy will have to punt. So the Buckeyes force a 3 and out. They'll carry a 3-point lead into the second quarter. 10-7 Ohio State.
It's time to blow it.
Welcome back to Columbus. Ohio State leading Navy by 3. ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com, part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. And how about this? Navy over the ball quickly, looking as if it's going to go on 4th down and 2. This is crazy, isn't it? Early in the game, if they actually snap it. See if they just try to draw the Buckeyes offside.
See, they're doing all that different motions to try to create movement.
They had 3 different quick movements by their backfield guys to try to get a defensive jump and didn't get it.
They tried to Chris Angel mind freak them. You believe what you see, but don't believe it.
That's just good discipline by Jim Haycock, the defensive coordinator, getting his guys knowing the situation. Hey guys, they might try to get you to jump. Don't jump. 4th and less than 5 on that down.
Terrell Pryor pleased with his defense hanging in there as well and not jumping. But they weren't going to go for it right there. 4th and 2.
No. But it's good that the defense didn't jump. Of course, you're taught in practice those situations.
Hold
right?
your water, yeah. And it's just different than Navy's approach. Usually you'll see guys do it with a hard count or hard cadence. That time they tried to create the illusion of movement or trying to start a simulation of a play, right, of course, without moving toward the line of scrimmage.
Kyle Delahook hoping to hit it straight here on the punt on 4th down and 2. Sanzenbacher back at his 25. And a good punt. Sanzenbacher fields it inside his 20-yard line. Slips one tackle. Flag down. And so is Sanzenbacher at the 30-yard line. This will come back.
They're going to get Chimdi Chekwa hidden behind the back, and you can avoid that by just throwing your hands up in the air and belly bump the guy like you're trying to avoid him. A lot of times you'll get away with a little nudge in the back. Of course, I'm not a proponent of that.
Are you trying to teach these high school kids out here how to break the law here?
Well, guys, you look at the size of Terrell Pryor, and you talked about, Bob, the comparisons with Vince Young. Let's compare him size-wise to Dick Butkus, obviously a linebacker, and former offensive lineman Bill Curry.
He's as big as Bill Curry was, and he's playing quarterback. I'd like to see Curry with that size play quarterback today. But if Terrell Pryor would have been playing back then, does that mean he would have been a center or a linebacker?
I think Terrell, with his athleticism, he might have been what he wanted to be.
That's true.
I mean, he's going to keep growing, right? He's 19 years old, 6 feet 6 inches tall.
Not only that, but he's going to get so much better. We're just seeing him at the start of his sophomore year.
He fumbled the snap there, has to dive on it. That's Pryor and Brewster not on the same page.
And yeah, that was the scary thing last year. They had Brewster was the center, and Terrell Pryor was the quarterback. They were both just out of high school.
Yeah.
2 true freshmen running the offense at Ohio State.
Looked like Brewster, to me, threw that ball up there a little bit low. A lot of times it's a combination of the quarterback getting out too fast or the ball was a little low to me, Bob. I'll call it out.
It's always a quarterback. It's never the quarterback's fault, always the center's fault.
They run off left tackle, not much. As Dan Herron is swallowed by Chase Burge. It'll bring up another 3rd down and long, but Ohio State has converted a bunch of those already today.
You know what I'm not seeing by the Ohio State offensive line, which you would expect to see with the size differential, and just to show Terrell and his size, that offensive lineman, they're not small guys, but there's nobody changing the line of scrimmage. Navy's holding their own, and they're not letting the line of scrimmage move forward for positive yards as far as the Buckeyes pushing them back.
3rd down and 8. Play action, and Pryor in trouble. Pryor in the end zone, got rid of it to Herron. And Herron eventually goes down, and Ohio State will have to punt.
Just a great job of Pryor knowing where he was and getting rid of the ball and not losing it.
Well, yeah, and again, it was a good job of Buddy Green. When he blitzes, he comes with a zone blitz. You're going to see the blitzing coming from this side, and these guys aren't playing man. They're going to play zone. And Terrell, with his strength, avoids blitz. There you see the zone blitz coming. The blitz comes off the outside. Everybody else plays zone, and they did a good job of not covering dirt, or in this case, field turf, but jumping men in their zone, and Terrell saved them. But that was a poor read by Terrell. He's got to recognize the weakness of the zone blitz would be to the other side of the field.
Coma's got a kick from his goal line. Navy blocked a couple punts last year. They don't come after it this time. Washington, fair caught right at midfield. So good starting field position for Navy, down 3 points early in the second quarter. 37-yard punt, no return. ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com as part of Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week. The opening Saturday of the 2009 college football season starting here in Columbus, and a good one early on.
Everybody's been saying for the last couple of months, when's football going to start? Everywhere I go, I say, when's football going to start? Well, there are a lot of happy people this weekend.
Maybe not Columbus right now. He might be in for a surprise here today as Teach gets to the second level and eventually tripped up but picked up 8 yards as we check in with Reese Davis.
All right, Dave, the post-Pat White era for West Virginia. They were taking on Liberty, a 10-3 game. Former South Carolina quarterback Tommy Beecher finding Mike Brown, who goes in for the score, and the Flames at West Virginia tied at 10. The Lane Kiffin era not off to a great start in the first quarter anyway. A couple of turnovers for the Vols, scoreless.
No turnovers here until now. Ball comes out. Ohio State recovers at the 44-yard line. Recovered by Ross Holman as Dobbs coughed it up. Thaddeus Gibson forced it.
Yeah, Thaddeus came from the backside on a full sprint. And when you have effort like that, there's nothing, no triple option to counter that speed. And what I loved about Thaddeus, Bob, take a look. Watch him come down and rake the ball. Not only going for the tackle, but you see that left arm come in there and strip the football. When you have pursuit like that, it's tough to run anything.
Gibson is usually known to play the weak side, gets the pass rush, leading sacker. There ain't going to be many opportunities to sack the quarterback today, but right there, he got a big turnover from a big play guy.
Terrell Pryor back to work from his own 44. He'll play action in trouble. And look at Pryor again get away from the defender. And what a grab downfield. Jake Ballard, the tight end, pulls it in at the 40-yard line of Navy.
The amazing thing to me is you just can't bring down Terrell Pryor, one guy in open field. I'd like to know, have a list of all the broken tackles that this kid's gotten out of throughout the year. I mean, it's just amazing. One guy can't bring him down.
Pospisil had his shot, but he put his head down and left his feet. See what you hit what you see.
Pospisil is the middle linebacker, is the leading tackler from last year.
Problem is Pryor's bigger than all these guys, maybe stronger too. Aaron to the outside, not much. Good job at the point of attack by Navy's defense. Ram Vella led the charge there.
You know what Navy did on that last pass was a zone blitz again. It was the opposite side, and they had an opportunity to make the play. This time they ran out of defenders in their secondary. Jake Ballard kept the route alive. But when you have Terrell Pryor, and I know from playing linebacker, when you got a quarterback to run, that is a pain in the rear end for all defenses. Because when you think you got him, you execute everything, then he escapes, and he's doing a great job. Last year he tuck and run. This year's eyes downfield, Bob, looking for that receiver.
Let's count the number of times he stays in the pocket and force him to stay in and completes it from there.
Pryor finds Herron out of the backfield, gets some blocking downfield. Good open field tackle, though, by Pospisil. Only a gain of 5. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series heads back south for Labor Day week.
To go back to Bob's point, David, is that there's only been one running call from Jim Tressel. That was the quarterback draw. Everything else, Terrell is staying in the pocket, keeping his eye downfield, becoming a thrower first, runner second, where last year runner first, thrower second.
They're down in 5. Pryor zips that one in there. Complete for a first down. True freshman Duron Carter, Chris Carter's son.
Well, they better get him now, because these guys, Carter and Pryor, are just going to get better and better and better.
Well, I played with Duron's daddy, Chris, here at Ohio State. And this is what his dad used to do. What I loved, and he was forced to do that, was catch the ball with his hands and went up and did a good job of protecting the ball, knowing that he was going to get hit after he caught it.
That wasn't an easy play, and he made it look easy.
Another play action and a rollout for Pryor. And a beautiful toss inside the 10 to Sanzenbacher.
You got to love that throw. Rolls out, outside the pocket. You got to throw it over one of the defenders, drop it in front of the back defender to Sanzenbacher that's coming on the outside.
Let's throw it over Ramvella, 5'9" linebacker. It's a little easier to throw. Ram's got to get a little more depth because there's nothing in front. Again, don't cover field turf. Get depth and help your buddies back end.
First down and goal. Pryor with the option pitch to Herron. Herron inside the 5 and then driven to the turf at the 2-yard line by Emmett Merchant, Tony Haber.
Ohio State last year was the #1 offense in getting into the end zone inside the 20-yard line. And that's the reason right there. Jim Tressel loves to call plays. I was talking to him a little before the ball game. He said Terrell's a little nervous. And then I walked away from Jim, and he was jumping up and down. And I'm thinking, I think the coach is a little nervous too.
Well, he was fired up.
Well, if this is how Pryor plays when he's nervous, 10 out of 13 for $127 and a touch already. Wait till he gets more poised. Play action, Pryor going to keep. And the glider is in. Touchdown, Ohio State. Pryor had 6 rushing touchdowns last season. That's his first of 2009. As the Buckeyes march down the field after the takeaway. And with Petrie's point after coming, looking to take a 10-point lead.
Here's what I think. Just watching this great play fake, ball handling. He's saying, I'm fast, and I know it.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by McDonald's and New York Life, the company you keep.
A shot of Celebration Drum Yard adjacent to Ohio Stadium. That's where Chris spent all of his time when he wasn't playing football here at Ohio State, right?
You got it, buddy. Right there was my classes. Old Larkins Hall.
And they're sewing Terrell Pryor's jersey. That's about as high as the Navy players can reach, so not surprised that that's the area they're repairing rather than up top. What a start, though. Touchdown pass and a touchdown run for Pryor. Petrie kicking off, and G.G. Green on the return. Green met at the 15-yard line and won't reach the 20. Back to the studio now. Let's check in with Reese. How about that throw, Bob?
That was pretty good for an old quarterback. He hasn't played since high school, but I like it.
New meaning to the word assist. The dime from deep.
First man through, Teach. Gobbled up by Dexter Larimore. Ohio State doing a better job at the point of attack. Gain of about 2 or 3.
And what they did is help him inside a little bit. They moved Cameron Hayward from his defensive end position down to the defensive tackle. At that time, he and Larimore held the point good. They stayed on their feet. They weren't playing on the ground. They were playing on their feet. Believe me, it's a big plus.
with a quick setup, and that's batted down to the line of scrimmage. Rob Rose got a paw on it. 3rd down and 6.
That was one of the things that we were talking to Ricky about the other day. He says these guys are so tall. These defensive linemen, they're 6'6", 6'7". He says, I have to throw over these guys. Well, if quarterbacks who have to throw a lot of passes have to throw over it or around it or get the ball fast. Quick release helps sometimes. Look off the defensive lineman. That time he just got one knocked back in his face.
Passing situation now. Dobbs on the rollout, throws a bullet, and it was caught. Gary Myers hung on to it for the 1st down out to the 32.
Good job by Ricky Dobbs. Getting those shoulders square. Turning his feet, getting the feet in position to throw and delivering a strike.
Well, the key thing there, Chris, is when you're rolling left for a quarterback to get some depth and then start running toward the line of scrimmage when you throw. And you're right, shoulders have to be square to the target.
Back to the ground and Teach. First man through. It's maybe 4 out to the 37 as we're back on campus. Brought to you by the movie Sorority Row. 120th season of football here at Ohio State, and this is a tune-up, if you will, for not only an attempt at a 5th straight Big Ten championship, but USC next Saturday night on ABC. With perhaps a true freshman quarterback and Matt Barkley coming here. What do you guys think of that?
I think that Aaron Corp is still injured, and that's the only reason that Matt Barkley is in the lineup.
Terrell Pryor play did not start at USC. As last year when the Buckeyes got trounced. And speaking of getting trounced, G.G. Green wrapped up, thrown down by Nathan Williams for a loss on the play.
You talk about how do you defend cut blocks. I was talking to Luke Fickell, co-defensive coordinator today. Watch Nathan Williams use his hands. First of all, there's a cut. He uses his hands. He pushes the helmet of the offensive lineman away and takes a good angle up the field, trusting his pursuit behind him and closing the gate in front of the ball. Excellent play by Nathan Williams. Kind of the hybrid / outside linebacker, defensive lineman. Ohio State's come out and playing the 3-4 with Nathan Williams on 1st and 2nd down, playing up in a 2-point stance. You can see him right there playing up in a 2-point.
Maybe 5 or 6 on 3rd down, but 3rd and 13 here, and just trying to run it. And Alexander Teach gets a couple. The Navy will have to punt it away.
Any negative yardage for this Navy offense is just a killer. A sack, a quarterback, or a loss, that toss sweep. That's very hard for this Navy offense to pick up 3rd and 13, 3rd and 15, something like that.
Now, the turnover was huge when Navy had good field position after the Ohio State punt to cough it up and watch the Buckeyes go down the field. Sanzenbacher back to return the punt of Kyle Delahook. Sanzenbacher inside the 25, breaks a couple tackles. And still going, finally brought down just shy of the 40-yard line. Terrell Pryor, a rushing touchdown and a passing TD, and he's back at it when we return to Columbus. State head coach Jim Tressel told us that he would get his backup quarterback Joe Boserman in the 4th or 5th series of the game. So here is the sophomore, spent some time playing baseball in the Pirates organization before enrolling at Ohio State.
And I like this. I think it's a very smart thing to do for a coach to get in your backup quarterback, especially in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd games, because down the road, if something happens to your starter, your backup's going to have some experience.
We might see the two of them out there together at some point today.
He knows what's going on. He's checking off.
Here's Sane trying to pick a hole and can't find it. Gang tackled at the 40. Let's go back to the studio and check in with Reese.
Dave, I know Kirk Ferentz was concerned when Jewel Hampton went down. They didn't know who was going to be the running back, and I was going to try to do it by committee, but just watching Jewel Hampton play last year, and of course you're trying to replace Sean Green, it's tough.
Emmett Merchant shaken up for the 2nd time. He was out during the spring as he was thinking of leaving the academy. Ended up sticking with it and signing his 2 and 5 papers, which means he'll play 2 more years at Navy and then spend 5 years repaying his opportunity to play here with service upon graduation. Running play on second down. Big hole for Sane. Bouncing off tacklers into Navy territory to the 46-yard line. Brought down by Ross Pospisil.
Brandon Sane was a guy that was under a little bit of criticism. Highly recruited out of high school, and he made a commitment to run tougher and harder. And you know what, Brandon? Your actions speak louder than your words.
Got some help from his offensive line. Browning and Brewster up there clearing the way.
Enjoying what he's seeing so far in this drive. Bauserman in trouble, and down he goes. Pospisil gets him back at the 46-yard line in Buckeye territory.
That right there is the difference of Bauserman and Terrell Pryor. I mean, Pospisil had Terrell Pryor, couldn't sack him about 5 or 6 plays ago. This time he's got Bauserman, the backup quarterback, and down he goes.
Yeah, they better worry about how to pick up the zone blitz, because right now, as you mentioned, Pospisil had one shot, didn't capitalize. That time he capitalizes. And a good call by Buddy Green, the defensive coordinator, running the zone blitz into the weakness of the protection, which allowed for the sack.
Loss of 7, and Bauserman in the gun on second and long. Bauserman with a ton of time, and he finds a man out of the backfield, Sane, and he gets back into Navy territory around the 42-yard line, brought down by Kevin Edwards.
Earlier, a little bit earlier, back in his own end zone, Pospisil could not get to Pryor and make the play. This time on Bauserman, he is going to make the play.
It's a little different than having those 6'6" legs gaining ground on you.
Yeah.
And a guy that runs 4.3. I don't know what Bauserman runs, but I can't imagine it's anywhere near that. Pospisil, the lone defensive captain for Navy. That's how they do it. They have one defensive captain and one offensive captain, who is, say, Asante, their left guard. Heron out of the backfield, going to be close to the first down marker. Appears to be short. May have stepped out prior to the tackle by Clint Sovey. Tonight on ESPN, the Dick's Sporting Goods Cowboy Classic. See if anybody hits the scoreboard punting in that game. If there is, if we have any punts with those offenses, BYU and Oklahoma, part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. ESPN 7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, everybody talks about Sam Bradford, and I'm wanting to talk about him too, but take a look at Max Hall tonight for BYU.
Yep, 4th down.
And the Buckeyes going. Sane gets the first down, muscling his way inside the 35-yard line.
And that time we see the offensive line changing the line of scrimmage. And when you want to change it on 4th and 1, an outstanding job by the big pants up front. Brandon Sane, again, committed, tough run.
They ran to the left side, too, Chris, behind Justin Bourne, the local guy who went to Michigan and came back, the left big guard. They said he brings some physicalness to that offensive line.
Bauserman with the play fake and overthrows his intended receiver, Torian Washington. We talked about Justin Bourne, Bob, and he played 2 seasons with Michigan. That's where his dad went to school. He is from Ohio, though. There you see him blocking for Mike Hart. Played next to Jake Long, who was the overall #1 pick in the draft last year, and then transferred to Ohio State, and his brother ended up signing, playing for the Buckeyes as well.
From Columbus.
And Zach Pickerington right down the street.
And Bourne was not available this week to the media. You can only imagine what it's going to be like during the Michigan week. Throw back to Heron out of the backfield. Inside the 20. Wrapped up inside the 15. And it was Bourne making the block there for Ohio State.
That was a nice play there. Just a little run fake. Nice play. Took his time, faked it. A little screen play back to the short side. Little fake to Heron, roll a little bit away, get the linebackers going away. Now you got Bourne out there, number 65. Just a nice call and a nice play.
Good job of Bourne staying patient. A lot of times you see those big linemen, they want to get down that field, crush, kill, destroy. That time he stayed patient, did a good job of blocking.
Not much for Herron on first down. Chase Burge has made a couple of plays in Ohio State's backfield now.
Big game for Chase, being an Ohio kid, getting the opportunity to start with the loss of Nate Webster, their nose guard.
Nate Frazier.
Thank you.
Yeah, Frazier was probably their best defensive player.
Yeah, he was dismissed during fall camp for violation of academy policy. And we've got a timeout with Ohio State leading by 10 late in the first half. Perhaps a record crowd here at the Horseshoe for Ohio State Navy. There was talk that they might surpass the 105,000 plus that they had in attendance for the Penn State game last year. Meanwhile, the Buckeyes leading by 10. Second down and 10, operating from the Navy 14. Empty set for Boserman. And he runs the quarterback draw. Down at the 8-yard line by Kevin Edwards.
I know they got that in their offense for their inside the 20, but Tress calling it with the other guy.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, USC is going to say they'll probably call that with Terrell in there with that 5 wide.
Navy trying to hold the Buckeyes to 3. Ohio State leading by 10. Third down and 4. Good work for backup quarterback Joe Boserman here. They'll go empty again.
Spread sideline to sideline. 4 wide receivers and a running back Herron at the bottom of the screen.
Boserman with time, but everybody covered. And Boserman throws it away. Pressured by Jabari Tuwani.
Tough to get anything going down there. You pick up a 12th defender, that back line of the end zone. And the longer that quarterback holds the ball, the less likely they're going to be defenders. I like the fact that, Bob, you see the composure of a young player. Throw the ball away, get your 3. Don't try to force anything.
This is Boserman's first opportunity to play a lot. He's a redshirt sophomore and made a smart play.
Petrie's made a 23-yard field goal. And another timeout called here.
Timeout, Navy. Second charge timeout. Is it?
So 58 seconds remaining. 1 timeout left for Navy. Down 10. But a victory for Ken Niumatalolo, able to hold Ohio State to a field goal attempt. And guys, really the difference in this game right now is the turnover.
Yeah.
After Navy got great field position in midfield after Ohio State punt, Dobbs coughed it up, and the Buckeyes marched down the field, and Pryor eventually scored.
I think one thing, if you're Ohio State, you were concerned about the speed and execution of the Navy offense. And after that first series, it looks like to me that Ohio State's defense is adjusted to the speed and execution so far of Navy's offense.
Things were going pretty well for Navy until Ricky Dobbs dropped the ball, and Gibson made that nice play from behind, but can't turn the ball over.
An awkward angle on that near hash for Petrie from 25 yards away, but no problem for him.
Hey, Dave, I was talking to Petrie before the kick. I said, what are you good for? He said 65, 66.
Well, he's only had to worry about 23 and 25 so far. And the Buckeyes leading by 13 as we go back to the studio and Reese Davis. All right, Reese. And guys, how important is that game next week? Not just for Ohio State, obviously, but for the Big Ten Conference to gain some respect back when USC comes calling an ESPN.
I think it's huge. I really do. And I think this game, Ohio State, if they take care of Navy, get through the ball game without too many injuries, get Terrell Pryor back rolling again, I think they're going to do very nicely next week against USC. Matt Barkley, you know, if I were Ohio State, if I were Jim Tressel, I would say, all right, at USC, I'm getting rid of Matt Sanchez. I'm Mark Sanchez. You bring a guy in here, and I'm going to have you play with a true freshman quarterback.
Well, last year, a true freshman played. That was Terrell Pryor. Meanwhile, it was Mark Sanchez, now the starting quarterback for the New York Jets, throwing 4 touchdown passes. Todd Beckman picked off by Ray Mauluga, took it back. for the touchdown. Ohio State was actually hanging in there in the first half in terms of total yards, but trailed in the game. Only 30 second-half yards for the Buckeyes. And Ohio State with only 4 losses here at home the last 6+ seasons. One of those to Penn State here last year. And, of course, that's the other huge game on the Buckeye schedule in November in Happy Valley, November 7th. And we'll see what Navy does here. One timeout to work with. And first man through is Teach. And he can't break a tackle from Kurt Coleman.
Chris, what do you think? Matt Barkley, you named him the starting quarterback. Yep. I just got to believe that there's something wrong with Aaron Corp. He's not well yet. He's not recovered from that broken leg.
I had a chance to speak with Pete Carroll, and I asked him that same thing. And Pete says, look, we feel that Matt has really earned the job now. I got the feeling that Pete was kind of rooting for Matt Barkley. Now, maybe that's true, not true. That's just my instinct telling me that, but we'll see. And we'll see what kind of hook does he have. Is he going to have the quick hook on Barkley, or is he going to let him learn on the job?
I heard one of his thought processes was, if I were Aaron Corp's father, what would I want to do? So that tells me that he's not completely healthy.
If I was his father, take a pain pill and play, son.
Broken vertebrae and all, right?
This is college, partner.
That's right. Terrell Pryor, great first half. He's healthy. 20-7. Buckeyes leading. Reese Davis now. College football halftime report. This is ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com. Back at the Horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio State with a 13-point lead over Navy as we get ready to start the third quarter of play. Over 105,000 on hand for Ohio State and Navy. Great turnout for the first Saturday in Columbus of the 2009 college football season. During the halftime festivities, Chris Spielman of ESPN and former All-American linebacker at Ohio State honored. He'll be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame next summer.
Earlier this year, it was announced that Chris Spielman was selected for this honor and will be inducted in December. Ohio State's single-season tackle leader, he holds the OSU record for most tackles in a game, 29 against Michigan. A 3-time All-Big Ten choice and 2-time All-American, Spielman concluded his brilliant career in 1987 by winning the Lombardi Award. A 3-year starter, few players have ever been as focused on the playing field. Spielman's Ohio State teams won 2 Big Ten titles. He played in the Rose and Cotton Bowls and was defensive MVP in the latter as a senior. After leaving Ohio State, Spielman became one of the NFL's top.
See Chris there with his wife Stephanie and their 4 children. Congratulations to Chris. Greasy's in the College Football Hall of Fame. 84, correct?
Yeah, 84. It's a much bigger deal now than it was. You know, they have that dinner in New York at the Waldorf, and Chris will be attending that this December.
And the kickoff to start the third quarter goes through the hands of Green. He's going to take it outside the 5 and get dumped.
See, he didn't have to run that out. He muffed it. Could have just stayed in the end zone and be a touchback.
But Green, a true freshman.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, once again, you're upstaged by your wife and kids, but congratulations, big guy. What was your initial thought when you found out that you were elected for the Hall of Fame?
Well, my initial thought was that I wanted my family with me, and today that dream came true where my wife was able to join us today, and also thought of my dad, who was such a high school football coach for over 40 years, and what this day would have meant to him. And of course, nothing is possible in football without teammates, and certainly I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my teammates.
First down for Navy, and Curry lost the pitch and gobbled it up at the 1-yard line.
It's not a good start for the Naval Academy. First 2 plays of the second half, they made mistakes.
And really, guys, that's what cost Navy in the first half, the turnover at midfield.
They do this all the time in practice. Curry just takes his eye off of it. Looked for where the defensive man was. Where do I have to break? Which hole am I running in? Took his eye off the ball and just dropped it.
Teach trying to give them some more breathing room out to about the 4-yard line. Tackled by Brian Roll, so it'll bring up 3rd down at about 14.
Yeah, when you go into the Hall of Fame, that's one team you can't be cut from, and you're on that team for life. It's a great honor for Chris. He was a great player at Ohio State and in the NFL.
Or number 36 here at Ohio State, the guy that just made the last tackle, Brian Roll, the middle linebacker, now for the Buckeyes wearing that number as well. Third and 14 for Dobbs, making his 2nd career start, and he gets hammered as he faked the handoff, greeted by Thaddeus Gibson rudely.
That could have been another fumble if Gibson would have gotten there a split second sooner and knocked the ball out of Ricky's hands right there. Nobody touched Gibson. Somebody's got to slow these guys down a little bit.
Now dangerous territory here, having a punt at the back of your end zone. Sanzenbacher will wait for it. Kyle Delahook to punt. How'd you get back so quick? Short punt and fair caught by Sanzenbacher around the 41. Oh, this could be a potential killing drive for Terrell Pryor and Ohio State. They can go down and score. Tough for Navy to come back from 20 down.
Well, go ahead, Bob.
Well, not a good way to start. All the momentum is Ohio State's before the first half, and then coming out, Navy gets the ball, you want to turn it around, and they don't do it.
Well, the one thing I want to see from Ohio State, from their perspective, is killer instinct. I mean, you got a team on the run here right now. You got to go, 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 and try to bury them while you can. Now, let's see how Navy responds. I look for Terrell Pryor right here. I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Tressel goes deep right off the get-go with the short punt.
You're huffing and puffing a little bit now.
Not a little bit.
I think he's calling plays offensively. He always wanted to call some plays.
Well, you think I might be right? We'll see.
No, I think you might be right.
First down at the 42. And around to Sanzenbacher. And he gets hit out of bounds. No flag thrown. Quasi Mitchell made the hit after Sanzenbacher had crossed the boundary. Looking at our first half stats, more rushing yards, which is no surprise, but only 5 more rushing attempts by Navy, and they still outgained Ohio State on the ground.
Plays in opposing territory.
That's something.
Navy had that one drive, the first drive of the ball game, took 15 plays from their 20-yard line and scored.
Penalty flag down.
A lot of times when the guards pull and they get a little antsy, Justin Bourne popped up.
False start. Offense. Number 55. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Actually, it's 65, Justin Bourne, the left guard. So that's often the case. Sometimes when a big fella gets his weight back on his heels, he's getting in an anxious position to pull. And if you get too far back, it's hard to keep all that weight going back forward a little bit.
Well, and the quarterback's got to be careful, too, that he doesn't do anything differently. Once he puts his hand under center and starts his cadence, he better keep it going because he knows guys are going to be pulling out of there.
Second penalty of the game. Navy last year was the 2nd least penalized team, and that's going to be another penalty. Delay a game. How does that happen after a false start penalty?
Delay of game. Offense. Number 2. 5 yards. 2nd down.
Well, how that happens is, you're out there on the field, everybody's there, and you think that the referee hasn't wind the clock ready for play, and he has, so it's running.
Again, that's a young quarterback, is it not?
That's a young quarterback, too. Flag down, and so is Pryor inside the 40, but another Ohio State penalty likely coming. This is exactly what Navy needed.
Boy, not a crisp display of football here starting the second half.
Well, then you're squandering field position. I mean, you go a first down away from a field goal all the way back right now to where punting.
Offense, number 64. 10 yards from the previous spot. 2nd down.
Jimmy Cordell playing a new position. Versatile lineman for the Buckeyes. Has started at center, has started at guard, and making his first start today at right tackle.
You know, when somebody is like that, Chris, you know he's got to be a pretty smart guy.
Absolutely. Invaluable. I mean, if you're looking to play football in the future, scouts see that you can play all three. That's a plus column.
You saw three-time Big Ten academic team as Pryor is spilled at the 47-yard line. So it's going to bring him third down at about 20 as Matt Neshek makes the tackle for Navy. This is a tune-up, if you want to call it that, for Ohio State with USC coming next week. What are some of the things the Buckeyes are going to have to do better against USC?
I think when you look at them running the football with more consistency, one, and everything else has been pretty solid, even from the defensive standpoint, except that opening drive where Navy took it right down the field on them.
3rd and 22. Pryor unloads and too wide for Duron Carter, incomplete.
He had him. He just needed to wait a second longer, and he had time in the pocket to wait. It's just that timing thing. You'll learn from this play this week. These receivers coming into the middle of the field. What Terrell had to do that time was just look away and hold the safety away from that area and then come back and just drill it in there.
I would say that's more in the timing of Duron as opposed to Terrell being a young freshman. Sometimes he might cut his route a little short or a little long.
Toma trying to angle it and pin. Navy deep, and the Buckeyes, they did it. They were able to keep it from crossing the plane of the goal line. Inside the 1-yard line, Anderson Russell racing down there for Ohio State. What a terrific play by Russell on special teams. ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com as part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. Ohio State on top of Navy 20-7, and for the second time this half, the midshipmen will start a drive inside the 10, this time from the 1. Dobbs on the keeper, gets hit hard at the 4-yard line by defensive tackle Doug Worthington.
What's clear to me, that's their short yardage play, guys. Fake to the fullback, and you get on the fullback's hip, and you ride him through the hole. And I like Ricky Dobbs' toughness so far. I mean, he's taking hits and shots, and he keeps bouncing up, but he's doing a good job of at least managing the offense and making the proper reads you need to make when you're the triple option trigger man.
Well, this Navy offense has really done nothing since that opening drive where they marched down the field 80 yards and scored. Dobbs will pitch it late. Good open field tackle by Chekwa on Finnerty. Back to the studio and Reese Davis. All right, Reese, Terrell Pryor could be a candidate, a touchdown rushing and one passing as well. 3rd down 5. Dobbs breaks a couple tackles. Powers close to the marker. Great third effort after the initial hit by Kurt Coleman. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series heads back south for Labor Day weekend. Coming from Atlanta tomorrow at 7 Eastern on ESPN, starting with NASCAR Countdown, telecast presented by Pennzoil. It is a first down for Navy.
Well, he ran right over Kurt Coleman right there to get that first down. Kurt Coleman in position to stop him short of the first. Dobbs is lower, and in football we know low man wins.
On the keeper. Ohio State strings that play out. Anderson Russell leading the way. Dobbs down around the 18.
This is Navy's offense. They don't have any quick serums to, if they get behind, they can't catch up very quickly. So they need time to march it down the field. Now that play right there was supposed to be a little toss to the A-back that was trailing, but there was a man outside, a defender, that if he would have pitched it, he would have gone for a loss. So this is Navy's way, and they have to just pound it out slow but sure.
13 carries, 6 passing attempts for Dobbs in the game. He threw 16 pass attempts all of last year. Navy forced to call a timeout. Play clock at 1. Ohio State 20, Navy 7 midway through the third in Columbus. Patch Bob Greasy and former Lombardi Award winner Chris Spielman, sans mustache. How much do they charge you for those t-shirts? 60, 70 bucks?
No, I'm not a male model, obviously, for that picture.
How do you have more hair now than you had back then? That's what I want. A pitch on 2nd down and 4 as Doyle tries to get to the outside and does. Picks up the first down to the 27 as we go back to Reese.
36. I wish you could. Purdue up 31-14.
Iowa back within 3, and Bob Greasy's alma mater with a record-setting performance.
Yeah.
And Dobbs has running room. Spittler chasing, finally grabs him at the 40-yard line, but it's another Navy first down.
What a nice job of man-to-man coverage by Ohio State, and that's one of the reasons why they can bring pressure. But Ricky Dobbs not making a stupid decision, tucking and running. He's looking down the left side of the field, Bob, and right here, I see nothing out in front of me. Let me use my legs to get some green.
Well, like I said, they've got 9 guys up to stop the run, so all right, we're going to throw out there on your guys. Well, your guy still has to be better than that corner.
Right. That's right.
And Navy's receivers are not better than the corners that are covering them for the Buckeyes.
Dobbs, the pitch, and Doyle able to corral, and a flag down, likely a face mask there as Gibson made the play.
Yeah, Thaddeus did come in.
And of course, no longer incidental face mask. That rule went out last year. So any pulling or tugging will result in 15 yards.
It's a good athletic play by Thaddeus Gibson when you're big and you can run laying out. And it's nothing intentional, but that's the rule. Keeps guys safe. But with those long arms, you got to get them down any way you can get them down sometimes.
Ohio State, as you would expect, balanced, and you guys surprised at all by Navy's numbers in terms of rushing and passing attempts?
No, they're like 88, 90% run, so that's about true to their form.
I think they should throw a little bit more on first down to loosen them up and go back to that 3-step drop.
You know
Timeout.
what, they're
Navy.
they're afraid of being 2nd and 10.
Jack Nicklaus Museum here in Columbus. A lot of legends.
Jack,
Spielman,
right, yeah.
Herb Street, Nicholas,
Robert Smith, another ESPN friend.
Chris Carter.
Jack Nicklaus, one of the non-Zusbone players to dot the I.
Speaking of dotting the I, John Glenn did it today. Ex-Navy pilot, astronaut, U.S. Senator, 88 years of age. Here's the end around to Greg Jones, and good play from behind by Holman. Otherwise, it was a big game. Now we talked about John Glenn. Check this out here. Here he's being orbited by the Ohio State band. He's known for orbiting. Yeah, you're the first man to do that. Along with his wife, Annie.
And the other ones that dotted the I that weren't Sousa players?
Would be Bob Hope.
Bob Hope.
E. Gordon Gee, president of the Ohio State University.
Of course.
And Jack Nicklaus.
And Jack.
Meanwhile, great drive from Navy. Started from its own 1-yard line. First man through. Teach Powers for the first down. Inside the 35-yard line.
Well, what's happening now, guys, is you see the Ohio State defenders are getting a little bit tired, especially on that defensive front. Why I say they're getting tired right there, big Dexter Larimore, number 72, had him in his grasp. And Teach just ran through the big fella. And I don't know if the elbow brace, big old clunker right there, had anything to do with the missed tackle, but that's something you can't have. Now their hands are on their hips, and that's telling me they're tired.
So a fresh set of downs for Navy at the Ohio State 35. And Dobbs pulls it back. And good throw. Another first down. That one caught by Mario Washington. Gave about 12 to the 23.
This has got to be open every time Navy runs it. You play action into the line of scrimmage. You have a crossing route by Washington, the wide receiver. It's a nice throw. I was watching Ricky Dobbs before the game, and he can really throw the football. I mean, he's got some footwork. He's got some touch. He's got an arm strength. He just runs a triple option. That's all. He didn't get to throw much.
That was his first pass at a half. The up back takes it for about 3. Alexander Teach.
No, man, I'm thinking about quadruple option now. How this is going to develop and grow. And you mentioned it, Bob, because of the play action, that slows down any pass rush that you might have. And I'll tell you, it is going to be, they're going to get better and better and better. And the more Ricky Dobbs plays, the more the passing game, I believe, is going to be developed within this offense.
It's just not the triple option. It's the belly option. It's the counter option. It's the trap option. They got all those other ones that you can run also.
It's helped them win 8 or more games each of the last 6 seasons. Dobbs to throw and shoot. Caught it. Looks like another first down. Chekwa one-on-one made the tackle out in space.
That's open. That's there all day. Now Chekwa is giving him some room. If they keep throwing it now, Chekwa may come up and bump and run on him and say, get away from this.
That's what I was talking about on first down. They're playing off a little bit, do that 3-step drop, and they've been able to have success with a little hitch route to the outside. It puts you in 2nd 7, 2nd 6, or 5. Now you got Ohio State where you want them.
Teach was the first man through, but movement.
False start. 70 offense. 5 yards. First down.
First penalty on Navy today. A battle of top 10 teams in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week tonight, 8 Eastern on ABC. It's Alabama and Virginia Tech. It'll be a good one.
You mentioned earlier that Navy was the 2nd least penalized team in the nation last year. That was their first penalty. And, you know, the way they played, penalties would kill them. I mean, that was going to be a good play. Now it's, what, 1st and 15.
And Dobbs and Teach are doing most of the work on the ground. And Teach diving here to about the 16. Only a 1-yard pickup there on 1st and 15. Todd Denlinger made the play for the Buckeyes.
Matt Malloy, it's a little sidebar here. Matt Malloy, the kid that jumped a little early, wants a 30 live goldfish. There you go. That'll toughen you up. That's a mental toughness test.
Those are the kind of things you catch when you read the bios. No, Bob and I passed over that one.
He wasn't even a defensive guy. No, I can't believe that. An offensive guy wouldn't do that.
14th play of the drive. Dobbs to the air. And down he goes, back at the 17. Denlinger with the sack.
If you can force Navy into 2nd and long or 3rd and long situations, this is not where they like to be. They're uncomfortable. 2nd and long, 3rd and long, drop it in the pocket. First of all, the offensive linemen have trouble pass blocking. Secondly, the receivers aren't as good as those defensive backs back there, and the quarterback is not that big. He can't find them.
Playing man free.
And Dobbs going to the end zone.
Great
and it's
throw.
caught. Touchdown. Marcus Curry. Marcus Curry's first career start. Ricky Dobbs' 2nd career start. And a huge touchdown to get Navy back within a score. Late in the 3rd. Dobbs' 2nd career touchdown pass. And how about that drive, guys? 15 plays, 99 yards on Ohio State's defense.
That's just an outstanding drive. They had some setbacks, and then they got done.
Watch right here. They're playing man free. That's Devon Torrance. Kirk Coleman is safety. He's going to run you out. Now watch the position of this guy right here. He stays on the outside. Where's your help? Your help's in the middle of the field. You have two guys covering the same area. He does not know where his help is. If he pushes that to the outside, he jumps on the outside of the receiver. Excuse me, that's Anderson Russell. If Anderson jumps to the outside of the receiver, then he has Kirk Coleman coming over the top to help him.
That was on 3rd down and 15.
Positioning, execution.
Ricky Dobbs, great throw.
Yes, sir.
15 plays, started on their own 1-yard line.
That'll give the young man some confidence. He told us yesterday he was a little bit nervous when he walked in here and saw this place, although he has played at FedEx Field.
I mean, we started the second half. Navy really looked bad. They weren't doing anything. They punted away. They were down by 16 points or whatever it was, 17 points. Now they're right back in this ball game. I mean,
Ohio State, your training, right?
Yeah. Ohio State had it, you know, it was almost like in a laugher. Let's just play this one out. Now we're only up by 6 points.
There's Thomas on the return for Ohio State. And he's got Priest and an ankle tackle at the 32-yard line. Guys, pressure's on Terrell Pryor right now. They need points.
Well, I think this is where Terrell normally excels. And I want to go back to the point because Dobbs made a statement today in today's paper. It's about trust. And you think of these young men, they're going to be our future leaders. So when things look dire and things aren't going well, they don't panic. And they came back and stayed with what they believe. They executed to a T, and they're in this ball game again.
And this is good for Terrell because he needs this. And, he's been here before, and he's probably going to be successful more often than not.
He won the game in Madison last year with a rushing touchdown late against Wisconsin. And threw an interception late in a loss to Penn State here in Columbus. Sane on the pitch. Out near the 45-yard line, so about 13 on 1st down. And the move to sticks.
Being able to get a hat on a hat, just like Ohio State did right there. The only on-block player is the free safety. The problem for Navy, he's 15 yards away as we go no huddle.
First time we've seen this. Sane makes a couple tackles and squirts out of a hole out near midfield. Pospisil made the tackle.
And I like this no huddle, Chris. The more things your offense can do to give the defense problems for this week's game or next week's game, I like it.
Especially a defense that doesn't play a lot of people.
The more things you can do, exactly.
Pitches to Herron, running room for him. To the 40-yard line, another 1st down for Ohio State. Our Saturday menu brought to you by Applebee's. Following us at ESPN, it's Illinois and Missouri. Huge game for the Illini there on ABC, Georgia, Oklahoma State. And then 2 good ones tonight, Alabama, Virginia Tech on ABC, and on ESPN, Oklahoma and BYU. Back to Herron. Those dives to the 37-yard line, got about 3, and that will likely be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Well, guys, we have got a ball game with 1 quarter to play here in Columbus, and a turnover is the difference. Jim Tressel's team getting 7 points off a Navy giveaway. It's a 6-point lead for Ohio State. Can Navy's defense shut down Pryor and company on the next drive? Find out when we start the 4th. It's time.
Online and then still get your DVDs in the mail.
It is so convenient.
I think if someone switches to Netflix, tries a free trial, they're gonna love it.
Netflix. Rent as many TV episodes and movies.
September on ESPN America.
Record set against Penn State last year, 105,711, and they're close today for this one with Navy. On the first Saturday of the 2009 college football season, and the Buckeyes driving, but only a 6-point lead. As we start the 4th, Pryor to the air, and wide open Washington, but he dropped it. And it'll bring up 3rd and 7.
Well, they had the right play on at the right time. There was a blitz from the wide side of the field. The corner was running deep. If he could have caught that, he could have run for a while.
Classic case of His eyes popped up down the field before he caught the football. Good recognition by Terrell of knowing where the weakness of the zone blitz is. It's usually the backside of the blitz right there because the corner is playing way off.
Here's Pryor on 3rd and 7. The pitch to Herron, and he's not going to get it. 5 yards shy of the first down. What do? Do you go for it on 4th down? We'll talk about that after we check in with Reese. And Aaron Petrie is going to try a 52-yard field goal. He made a 54-yarder last season. And he buries it. That would have been good from 60. And it's a 9-point Buckeye lead.
What did I tell you? I talked to Aaron before the game. I said, where you good? He said, Chris, I'm good from 65 to 66. 52 is a chip shot.
Weren't sure that you guys would like the call to kick it on 4th down. Got to leg it down. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Cars.com as part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week. Ohio State with a 52-yard field goal from Aaron Petrie takes a 9-point lead. 23-14. You see Terrell Pryor there, and we noticed last time that on the tape under his eyes there, he's got M-I-K-A under one eye and Vick under the other. We can only imagine that's a reference to Michael Vick, but we asked the university about it, and they said they were not sure that that was what the reference was to. Pryor was a Vick fan growing up, so it does make sense. Here's Green for Navy on the return. To the 21. Back to the studio in Reese Davis.
Oh, the Panthers holding on to that 3-point lead.
That'd be obviously a miserable loss for the Big Ten, and what happens if Navy knocks off Ohio State here today. It is a 2-possession game, though. Ohio State by 9 from the Navy 21. First man through is Teach. And he gets maybe 3. Brought down there by Cameron Hayward.
Good job by Doug Worthington of creating a pile with a stack of rear ends, not getting driven off the ball, and is able to knock that pulling guard off. We talk about that when that pulling guard comes around. Doug Worthington ate up 2 blockers. Well, as a defensive lineman, you're eating up 2. Somebody's free inside. That was a great job of staying stout in there.
To throw. He had a touchdown pass on the last possession. Another throw on the money. Then the ball's ripped out by Kurt Coleman. No signal yet as they peel bodies off the turf. Was it definitely a catch? That's the other question. Coleman ripped it out after Washington had his hands on it. Ohio State says that it has it. They do. Buckeye ball.
The second big turnover that Navy has had today.
Smart play right here. Coming in, not settling for the tackle, but have the awareness of grip and rip.
Did he have possession, though, guys?
Well, it looked like he did. Especially, Chris, when you got somebody helping there. Rolled, the middle linebacker came over, and you can go for the ball while he'll hold on to the receiver for you.
Absolutely. One guy, first guy in, secure the tackle, you get help, start ripping at that football. And that's the captain, and that's the senior. Standing up and making a play for the guys he needs to make a play for.
Surprised that Niumatalolo doesn't call a timeout and challenge it, and too late now. Pryor dumping it off. Inside the 15-yard line is Stoneburner, the backup tight end. But why not, guys, call a timeout? Because you got a challenge.
Every play in college football is reviewed. And if the guys up in the booth up here see something or they need more time, they would have called down and stopped the game.
Right, but he can call a timeout, and when he didn't see that the replay booth called it, he should have done that. Just from my game right here, right?
Well, like I said, every play is reviewed, so they must have looked at it and let it go.
Wasn't even close in my eyes now. I thought that was a clear possession.
Spoken like a true Buckeye.
There you go, a true defender.
Pryor to the outside. Stiff arms. And down at the 6-yard line, Blake Carter made the play for Navy.
Now, every play is reviewed, and what Ken Niumatalolo may have done was, all right, I don't think you guys have enough time. I'm going to give you some more time. So I'm going to call a timeout to give you guys more time to review it. But they can't. They are allowed to call down and stop the game for a while they take another look at it, take a little more time to look at it.
And in college, you do get one challenge as a head coach. That was instituted a year ago. 2nd down and 3. The pitch to Herron. Breaks a tackle. Touchdown, Ohio State. Herron shaken up after the score. It was Coleman that forced the fumble, and the Buckeyes now lead by 15 with a PAT coming.
We're going to see it on a replay. Jake Ballard does a good job of driving his man down the field, creating space for Boom Herron to work.
And Petrie misses that off the upright.
Go figure.
So 2 touchdowns for Ohio State off of Navy fumbles, and that's the difference in the game. 15-point Buckeye lead after the rushing touchdown by sophomore Dan Herron. Going back to 1902, students have been jumping into Mirror Lake the Thursday before the Ohio State-Michigan game. It's too bad that Chris Spielman Day wasn't in December and we're here, because then we'd have to see Spielman jump in.
Yeah.
I'd take that challenge. I ate a chili pepper on the air, the hottest chili pepper in the world. I'll jump into Mirror Lake for the team.
29-14 Ohio State leads early 4th quarter. 2 touchdowns today for the Buckeyes off of fumbles by the midshipmen. And Green across the 20 to about the 25. This is the first time Ohio State has hosted a service academy since 1931 when Navy was here on November 7th. Buckeyes shut out Navy that day 20-0. The last time these two schools actually played a game was at the '81 Liberty Bowl, but it was 50 years prior to that Navy was here.
Kind of looks like the same offense a little bit. A lot of head fakes. Only probably everybody was named Bucko and Jacko and all that back then.
I'm just glad you didn't ask Bob if he remembered that game. Here's Curry hitting the pitch, and he's close to the first down.
I think McGuire covered that game, didn't he, Bob?
I think he did.
Well, guys, Terrell Pryor has got a touchdown pass and a touchdown run. Based on what you've seen, how much improvement has been made from last year?
I think he's just getting better and better. I think there's a lot of improvement that can be made, but I think the expectations for him are so high around here and nationally and around the Midwest. You know, they named him the Big Ten preseason offensive player of the year. He's only started 12. This is 12th start. I mean, he's just a pup.
Fitz Murray got the first down.
I saw him in the spring, and I saw a difference of night and day from last year during the regular season to spring football and how he threw the football. A lot of that is knowledge of the offense and confidence of where he's going and a trust in all of his receivers. And Jim Tressel trusting him to deliver the football and make the reads. But his motion, his footwork are a ton better from my perspective.
Coach said that as Murray takes the handoff, that Pryor is the hardest worker, one of the hardest workers on the team. Let's go back to another hard worker, Reese Davis in the studio. Well, here it's a 15-point game with the Buckeyes on top. Navy's been able to move the ball. Not this time. Dobbs sacked back at the 35-yard line by Jermail Hines. First time we've called his name today.
Kind of a slash hybrid linebacker, nickel back. The luxury of being able to play man-to-man. When you stick to him, when you bring blitz, the pressure comes a little bit faster, and there's no quick openings like there is in a zone blitz. There's always a weakness in a zone blitz in the throwing area. Man-to-man, when you can match up man-to-man, and Bob's been saying it all day, their receivers aren't better than Ohio State's defensive backs. There's your result.
forced the fumble the last time Navy had the ball. Now comes up with an INT.
Well, a great catch by Coleman. He had 4 interceptions last year. A little semi-roll by the quarterback. Threw it to the outside, and Coleman just makes a great catch. He's like a receiver on this play. That's just great defensive play right there.
Well, he undercut him too, and I thought there, Bob, you could tell me Ricky Dobbs might have wanted to put a little air under that.
He didn't have time to wait.
Yeah.
He was remembering the play before when he got hit in the jaw.
Play fake, and Pryor again finding a wide open tight end. This time it's Ballard. That play's worked all day. Ballard shoved out at the 36. Top 10 powerhouses square off in the Chick-fil-A kickoff game as Alabama meets Virginia Tech. The Tide ranked 5th. Hokies rated 7th. All part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC. Who wins that one, guys?
Well, I tell you, I like Alabama. After that whooping they took against Utah in the Sugar Bowl last year, I got to believe they're going to be focused. Julio Jones, Mark Ingram back. They'll be very good.
Pass caught by Carter, a game of about 6 or 7.
I think it depends on Tyrod Taylor and how much he's grown up. He's been around there for 3 years now. It's about time for him to start living up to some of his press clippings. Virginia Tech's a good ball club.
Well, you know, Frank Beamer will have him going on teams, and an assistant coach, defensive coordinator, Bud Foster, who's been there for a while. His guys play hard, they play tough, they play long, and they play strong, and they bring their lunch pail every single week, literally.
Pryor and the Buckeyes on the move again. Sane, and breaks a tackle, and then finally driven to the ground at the 24-yard line by Owuji.
Chris, you have a lunch pail?
Not like the Virginia Tech one. The only lunch pails I deal with are Dora the Explorer and SpongeBob right now.
Are those yours or your kids?
Well, I use them, but I make my kids, my 2 older ones, I give them the brown paper bags.
Should have been a face mask here, guys, by Chase Burge. Yep. Any part of the helmet, including the chin strap, is a 15-yard face mask penalty.
You know, another luxury Ohio State has this year, and we see the NFL do it. 2 backs, and they go to them with equal time, fresh legs, with Boom Herron and Brandon Sane.
So no penalty. Still Ohio State with the ball at the Navy 23. Pryor again zips that one in there. Jerron Carter's looked solid in his first game. True freshman from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
One-on-one, true freshman. Talking to Tress, he says this kid's going to really be good. A lot of the traits that his daddy had, and he's got the same thing that Terrell Pryor. He said Pryor takes too many notes. He says he almost takes too many notes. He says we're watching film, and we almost take too many notes.
Well, he's got hands like his dad. Chris Carter had terrific hands at Ohio State and also for 16 seasons in the National Football League. 8-time Pro Bowl selection, now part of our team at ESPN.
Well, one thing about Chris, I never saw him playing with him, even playing against him in the pros. Rarely did he make a belly catch. Did he have his hands, palms turned to the sky? Everything was his hands, like a catcher. Always hands. Great receiver. Maybe one of the best that ever played, in my opinion. NFL-wise.
Herron knocked down shy of the first down marker. Navy continuing to play hard. And now a decision here. Pryor wants to go on 4th down and 2. And Jim Tressel will say, go ahead.
They like to pull a guard and fullback Zach Bourne, a true freshman, brother of Justin, in and run the power O play where they get 2 lead blockers through 1 hole. Or if I'm Terrell Pryor, I'm 6'6". I might try to sneak it here, Bob.
There's your fullback you're just talking about.
There it is.
And Herron didn't appear to have it. Great play by Tyler Simmons, sticking his face in there and making the stop. Guys, if Ohio State would have kicked that field goal, it would be a 3-possession game, but Jim Tressel putting the trust in his young quarterback, Terrell Pryor. And they did not get it.
Well, here's what I was talking about. Follow the fullback, as Bob pointed out. There's your pulling guard. There's your fullback right there. But nobody gets Pospisil coming over the top. Nobody gets it, or Simmons, and nobody blocks him. If you're going to pull and lead in a hole, you take a gray helmet and you put it on a gold helmet. You don't take your gray helmet and put it on air or green. You put it on the gold.
Why not just take the points and end the game? Make it a 3-possession game.
You can't get 4th and 1. You got a problem.
Here's Dobbs to throw. Has to now, and he's got a man. It's Curry. Curry being chased inside the 20. Curry all the way. Touchdown, Navy. And the midshipman right back in the game. 85-yard touchdown.
Got the decision to go for 1 or 2 right now.
Coach Ken told us that this kid can throw. This is the best, Ricky Dobbs, the best quarterback he's had in the last 6 years. And he puts it out in front. Curry takes it to the house. And Russell can't get him quick enough.
That's Curry 2. Anderson Russell 0. Both touchdown passes have been Curry over Russell.
They go for 1 now, which is the smart thing to do, and get it to a 1-possession game. And instead of a 3-possession game, after Ohio State fails on 4th down, on the first play, Navy goes 85 yards. Marcus Curry's 2nd touchdown catch today. A tour of the campus, Ohio State University and Columbus, and
the last remnants of construction for the Mirror Lake Cafe that I'm telling you about in the art pack.
People here right now fretting what may take place over the next 6 minutes and 15 seconds after the 3rd longest play in Navy history by sophomore Marcus Curry, an 85-yard touchdown catch and run, and Navy is back within 8 points.
That's a matchup they've been winning. We've been saying, Bob, the wide receivers have been beating the DBs. That's one Navy's been winning. Curry on Russell.
Let's see if Teague kicks it deep. He does. They were lining up as if they were going to onside kick it. Here's Lamar Thomas on the return. And he'll be taken down shy of the 28-yard line.
Let's go back to the touchdown. Here's Curry. He's just going to run a post right in here. I don't know if this Russell, who has covered him, is expecting some help or not, but he didn't get it. And a great throw to the inside, and now he just outruns Russell.
Usually when you're going to have man coverage with no help, you're bringing 7. Ohio State didn't bring 7.
Didn't bring anybody.
If you're bringing less than 7, there's always a free safety. So to me, Anderson was expecting help in the middle of the field, got 0. Dobbs read it, Curry read it, touchdown, midshipman.
Terrell Pryor back to work from the 28. Here's Herron at maybe 4. Balls forward, Burge on the stop.
And when you only throw the ball 10 to 12 times a game and you run it all the time, like we've been saying all day, those are the matchups that you're going to get on the outside, especially when they feel like, Ohio State feels like their DBs are better and can cover faster than your wide receivers.
Yeah, but you know what? It's easy to beat man coverage. If one defensive back is expecting something and he's not there, and there's a mental error, there you have it, touchdown.
Again, only 12 pass plays today, but Dobbs has been effective when he's thrown it. Pryor going to run in circles and still make a play. One stiff arm, another one, and then dives past the first down marker. He got 8 yards on that play.
All right, he wants to throw it to the right. I'm going to run it. Well, I'm going to run over here. This guy's got no chance to tackle him. No chance. He's got that big long arm, that left arm he sticks out there.
That's a weapon, dude. It's like a jab in boxing. If the other fighter can't get to you, you keep jabbing, you keep distance. That wingspan of Terrell is as long as his legs.
Aaron up the middle, squashed by Jabari Tawani. No gain on the play. Tonight on ESPN, the Dick's Sporting Goods Cowboys Classic. Oklahoma taking on BYU at Cowboys Stadium. Part of Dick's Sporting Goods kickoff week on ESPN tonight at 7 Eastern. BYU have a chance in that game, guys, with no Gresham, the tight end for Oklahoma, not playing?
Oklahoma's got, 4 new offensive linemen. They lost a lot of wide receivers. Their tight end is not playing. Got a lot of targets that aren't there, but those 2 running backs are still there.
Yeah. Chris Brown, DeMarco Murray, absolutely.
2nd down and 9 after a minimal gain on 1st down for Herron. And now Pryor going to air it out. And that looked like that could have been caught. Maybe short-armed along the sideline. Washington, who dropped one earlier, it's 3rd down and long.
Well, this is, again, the growth process of Terrell Pryor. That ball's in the air before Washington comes out, and he just misjudges it. He didn't extend his arms. I don't know if he didn't see it. He felt the DB on his back. But that was a well-thrown ball because it was thrown where only Washington could make the play.
How about this, guys? If they don't pick this up, 3rd down and 9, Navy's going to get the ball back with a lot of time left. 1 timeout in a 1-possession game here in Columbus.
There's Seidenbacher on the inside slot. Terrell likes him on 3rd downs.
Pryor stepping up. Unloads over the middle. Picked off. Emmett Merchant with the interception. Takes it all the way back to the Ohio State 34-yard line.
You were right, Chris. He was trying to get it to Seidenbacher. He was locked in, just overthrew him, and Merchant gets the first pick of the day, the turnover today for Navy.
A pressure situation. Where's he going? He's going to his comfort level. We marked it down for you. He's looking for Seidenbacher all day. Look at his eyes. They never leave Seidenbacher. Never. And there's the ball overthrown. Merchant in great position, making a play. Good job of catching the ball with his hands, Bob, as a DB.
Yep.
Dobbs will keep. He gets crushed at the 28 by Hayward. Guys, go back to that 4th down. Ohio State had it. 4th and 2. Went for it. They didn't get it again. If you kick that field goal, it's a 3-possession game. This thing's over.
You're right, and I think probably Tress, going back and looking at that again, probably should have kicked it. But, they were kind of on a roll. Things were going well. They had just picked off the interception. And I think, Pryor wanted to go for it. All right, let the offense in there. He thought the chances of picking it up would probably be pretty good.
Pryor threw only 4 interceptions, by the way, all of last year. That's his first one of this year. Dobbs going to the air. And it's caught by Finnerty, wrestled down just shy of the 1st down by Anderson Russell.
Navy is they've done this before. I mean, they've beaten Notre Dame. They've beaten Pittsburgh. Wake Forest was a pretty darn good football team last year.
This is a quarterback follow now. I don't think we'll see any option because you want to protect the football. This is where Dobbs will fake to the fullback, get right on his hip. I'm Ohio State. I'm clogging that middle, taking my chance that they're running in the middle.
And they do with Dobbs. Got the 1st down and more. Touchdown, Navy!
Unbelievable.
We're up here.
This record crowd is in shock. Just a little while ago, they were sitting back just wondering, they're going to run out the rest of the game, and Navy never gave up.
We're up here calling the plays, right? I mean, we're saying fake it fullback, and that's what they do on short yard. Clog the middle. That middle was left exposed and wide open. They wouldn't have got Dobbs if it was 2-hand touch.
And now a chance to tie the game as Navy's going for 2. Jim Tressel wants to talk it over. They'll burn a timeout here. Well, again, Ohio State was up by 15. Had a chance to go for 3. Instead, they go on 4th and 2, and Herron got a yard. And then on the next play, Dobbs 85 yards to Marcus Curry to make it 29-21. And then Pryor throws an interception. Emmett Merchant. And then Dobbs, his second rushing touchdown of the game. His fourth that he's accounted for in this one.
This is where legends are made, Terrell.
And you see his numbers not as good overall as Dobbs in this game, at least statistically. But again, Dobbs has had a lot more rushing attempts than Pryor has.
All right, Mr. Quarterback, what are you doing here?
Well, first of all, we came on the air saying that Ricky Dobbs, for Navy to win this game, was going to have to play well and have a good ball game. He started off a little slow, but he's picked it up. And that graphic right there just showed you the running and the passing of Ricky Dobbs. 4 touchdowns today.
It's important to note that a lot of teams have special 2-point plays that they don't show out the field.
Look at this. They're spreading them out here. Have we seen this yet from Navy? The spread out on the 2-point try.
Why not go back to the touchdown run?
And Dobbs to throw, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Brian Roll. He can return it for 2 points. Being chased by Dobbs. Dobbs not going to catch him. It's 2 for the Buckeyes. So it's a 4-point Ohio State lead.
I don't like the call. I don't like the call. You're taking it. You're asking your little quarterback to throw a pass in the secondary when all these Buccaneers, all these guys are back there. Run one of your better plays. Run your fullback. Keep your quarterback.
But Bob, they haven't stopped the 2-yard gain the quarterback followed all day. Yeah. They just popped one up the middle. The defense was still spread wide out because of the formation. Run the play. It's a tie ball game if you run the play.
Now here's the problem.
Now they know their offense. They know their offense better than we do.
Yes, sir. I'm just, this is my job. That's what I would do.
Well, guys, here's the problem now. Because if you stop Ohio State on this next possession, you get the ball, you need a touchdown. Had you not converted it, you would have needed a field goal, but now with Ohio State getting 2, you got to score a touch to win the game. That's if you get the ball back, which you may not.
Yeah, you got to go for the tie, though. You got the shot down there. You're on the road. You got to go for the 2.
Well, no, I'm saying, though, because they had the 2 points for Ohio State on the INT, had he just dropped the ball or thrown an incomplete pass, it's still a 2-point game.
Great recognition by Brian Roll. The transition. Thaddeus Gibson throwing a key block that sprung him.
And that's a rule in college football that they can return a try. In the Pro Bowl, you can't do that. It's a dead ball. But the defense gets 2 points if they score, and they did. You never see that play. I mean, that one will be on all the reels because you never see that play. You talk about it a lot, but you never see it.
And now the onside kick attempt, high in the air and out of bounds. So Ohio State will take over at the 42-yard line. Flags come in because the ball went out of bounds.
They threw 2. Same official threw 2, so I don't know if I know one guy got taken out over there. That was actually a well-executed kick. They got the high hop toward the far part of the field, which gives your coverage guys the most time to cover 10 yards.
And Navy may have moved too soon as well there. That may be the reason for the other flag. Let's see here.
Free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. Ohio State has elected to take the ball 5 yards from the out of bounds spot. First down.
That was the only penalty called. So Ohio State will have it at the Navy 39. Only 1 timeout remaining. And because Ohio State got a pick 2, it's now a 4-point game. Navy needs a stop and then a touchdown. Here's Herron on first down. And he got a couple of yards. Navy will save its timeout for now.
Well, you're going to need to come up with some good plays to make first downs here. Your good running plays. Drop back and let your quarterback throw the ball. You know, he's just been intercepted. We had a big Ohio State had a Dressel's thinking is we had a big lead. Now we're down that my quarterback threw an interception. He's a little shaky maybe. You know, what do we do? What do we call here?
Keep it on the ground, make them use their timeout right here. Run it, trust your defense.
Big hole for Herron. He got the first down. Still going inside the 20. Finally stopped at the 19-yard line.
This was the same play on the 4th and 1. Same play on the 4th and 1 where they didn't execute. Look at Brian Browning, pulling guard, kick out right there, Herron with a good read. Last time on the short yardage play, Browning never got his squared shoulders up into the hole. This time, he becomes the lead blocker. Zach Bourne with a nice kick out. Daniel Herron with a nice read. Execution, my friends, at the highest level.
Ohio State will take a knee, and Navy will see if it uses a timeout. Does have one remaining, just in case they fumble the exchange the next time. Navy will call a timeout and force Ohio State to snap it.
Well, Ohio State's got USC coming in next week.
Yeah, and if you're them, what are you thinking after watching this close game?
Well, this will give Ohio State some the coaches a bunch of opportunities to go in and say, hey, we need to get better, a lot better.
There was Pryor last year against USC getting a lot of playing time in that game. Remember Nobini Wells in that game. Pryor was 7 of 9 for 52 yards, average about 3.5 yards a carry in that 35-3 loss.
You know what I'm thinking? Thank goodness I don't have to play this option in these chop blocks, or excuse me, cut blocks, not chop blocks, cut blocks. I don't have to play this. We can go back and practice what we know how to practice. We can get better looks because we can go ones-on-ones to get the type of look we need to get to play USC.
And I think, Chris, the defense, Ohio State's defense against USC will be different than it is here. There won't be man-on-man coverage all the time, single coverage. Every time Navy comes to the line of scrimmage, they know that they could throw a post and have it there. But that won't happen next week. They'll mix their coverage, play a lot of different things.
Pryor takes a knee. He'll have to do it one more time at the 40-second clock. But this game closer than frankly it should have been. It's 29-14 with about 9 minutes left.
I do a daily radio show in town, and since spring I've been saying this on the start of the show every single day. Don't sleep on Navy. If you're an Ohio State fan, you don't sleep on Navy. They're good, they execute, they're tough, and they're going to fight you for 60. Every single game that I've done in the past, and every time I've watched them on TV, they will fight you for 60.
8 or more wins, 6 straight years for Navy. But they're going to lose today in Columbus, but a great effort as Ohio State wins its opener with the Trojans coming to town a week from tonight. Jim Tressel still perfect in home openers at Ohio State. Terrell Pryor, pretty good, not perfect, had that interception, but wins it nonetheless 31-27 with USC coming next Saturday to Columbus. For Bob Greasy, Chris Spielman, our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dave Pasch. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's go back to Reese Davis in the studio.